are now tuned in to ZSW TV. Welcome back. So, you picked the class and you're ready to arena. Well, let's start with the bad news. This is an MMO, after all, so you do need to level up a bit. The good news, you can enter the arena as early as level 30, which is completely doable in an hour or two. Despite that, however, I will personally recommend that you wait until at least level 40. Otherwise, you won't have all the skills you need. Don't worry though. Level 40 is definitely doable in less than 2 days, even if you are playing casually. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. Once you hit level 30, you will see the arena button appear on the top left corner of the screen. All you have to do is click it. It will tell you stuff like, you must be level 30 on the world map, in a safe zone, not indoors, etc, etc. Well, all that is saying is, just go to a town and press into arena. Okay, now you're presented with a bunch of options. What now? Well, first of all, you will notice stuff like Games 1 and Games 2, Practice 1 and Practice 2. These are just staging areas, so it doesn't matter whether you pick 1 or 2, they're the same thing. Most people prefer 1 though. So, there are really only 4 different options. The first option is Games. This is reserved exclusively for an automated monthly tournament known as the Jianghu Games. For the other days of the month, this option can be ignored. Then you have Practice. Here you can just go and fight people without having to worry about being outgeared. Next, you have Tactics. Now, this is basically the same as Practice, except as you may notice from the description, it doesn't say Practice Arena do not award reputation or arena coin. That's because fights in Tactics are ranked. Sadly, most people don't do Tactics because there's absolutely nothing preventing people from just feeding themselves results. However, once we get matchmaking, this will change. So if you want to do ranked 1v1s legitimately, then petition to the GMs to implement matchmaking. Finally, there is Warriors. This is basically arena but without equalized gear, so nobody does this. If you want to do something like this, just go and duel people on the world map instead. Time for us to go into Practice 1. And oh look, there's people. Can I attack them? As it turns out, we can't, because this is just a staging area, and these people here are actually just NPCs made to look like players who are top ranked. They give you some daily quests you can do if you want, and this NPC here tells you the status of the Jianghu Games. We're not going to worry about that for now. So, on the right hand side of the screen, we have a list of all active rooms. Let's look at this room for example. If you take a look at the icon under status, the eye means there's a fight going on, but you can still go and be a spectator if you want. The red people icon here means that there's already someone else waiting to fight. A vacant room will be indicated by a green people icon. Since all rooms are busy, let's create our own. So we press create room and we get this. You can't actually select the room type, so ignore that part. Unless you want to change the room's name, just press create. Now, if you're like me, you will get a message saying battlefield name contains illegal characters. If you're using anything other than letters in the alphabet, just remove them. For me, it's actually because my name is too long. So, I'll remove a few characters and I'm good to go. Okay, my room is made. However, the default configuration is actually pretty bad, so let's click the mode button and make some changes. First up is the battle rules. This is basically the type of fight you want. The most standard fight is 1v1, which is single duel. Now, in single duel, you just fight once, and whoever wins the battle wins the match. There is also best of 3, which is the same as single duel, except whoever wins 2 battles wins the match. And as you might imagine, best of 5 is the same thing, but whoever wins 3 battles wins the match. I'll talk about the last 2 in a bit. Next up is round time. We have 60 seconds, 99 seconds, and no limit. Except no limit is actually 200 seconds, I believe no limit was an option back when the game first released in China, but it's been removed now. If you're disappointed, don't be. It's actually pretty rare for fights to go beyond 200 seconds. No limit is the most common setting. How round time works is that there will be a timer that starts ticking at the top when you start fighting. If the timer reaches 0 before someone dies, then whoever has the most HP is the victor. Now, if you're from traditional MMOs, you might be worried about heal stalls. Luckily, this isn't a problem in the arena because heals are heavily nerfed, so it's impractical as a stalling tactic. Lastly, we have match rules. This is where you can put additional restrictions on what should be allowed in the fight. Companions are the thing you get upon reaching level 25. Not many companion actually affects the outcome of a fight, but most people just leave it off anyways. Next is mount. I'm pretty sure this does not work since you cannot ride your mount in the arena. But if someone figured out a way to make it work, then let me know. The change gear option might be a bit confusing. I mean, if gear is equalized, then it doesn't actually matter, does it? Well, what disabling the option actually does is prevent people from taking off their weapon and re-equipping it. Take off their weapon. Isn't that kind of stupid? Well, there's actually a glitch that can be abused by taking off your weapon. I call it the grab glitch. I'll talk about it in another video, but it's not a very honorable way to fight, so basically just disable it. Potions? Only if you really want to. The amount healed by potion barely makes a difference compared to your total HP, and the potions are non-refundable. So, enable it if you're truly tryhard or you just have potions to waste. Most people disable it though. I have no idea what items does. Next. Projectiles is something that you can use starting at level 50. You basically get an item that you can throw at people. The common projectiles deal damage, but rare projectiles usually have some effects attached to them. Like potions, it's non-refundable, so again, it's up to you if you really want to use it. But, if you enable it, someone with better projectiles can use it to their heart's content. Lost arts and extras are something you want to disable, even if you have them yourself. They were made for World PK and heavily unbalanced classes in the arena. Not all extras and lost arts were made equal. Some classes will gain the ability to kill you in one combo, whereas otherwise they wouldn't. So use at your own risk, and don't say I didn't warn you. Last but not least, please skip movie. Unless this is your first time seeing it, then I forgive you. Otherwise, if you've seen it once, you've seen it a million times, so please skip the movie. Now, let's go back to the last two battle rules. King of Fighters and Free For All are both 3v3. However, King of Fighter is more like a relay 1v1. The first person on red team fights the first person on blue team. Then, let's say the person on red team won, he will then continue to fight the second person on blue team, but he will keep the same HP he had from the last round. Then, if the person on blue team defeats him, he gets to fight the second person on red team, and so on. The team to eliminate all three opposing player wins. Now, some people like this style, but I personally won't participate in it. The main reason is that when other people are fighting, there is absolutely nothing for you to do. It's just spectator mode, so it's kind of boring. So with that said, when I say 3v3, I will almost always be referring to free-for-all. This mode is actually 3v3, where you have 3 people fighting 3 people at the same time. Before we go into an actual fight, let's look at one last thing. Scenes. Or, they're really maps. There are currently 4 maps you can use. Stand of Heroes is the default map, and it's the map we're currently on. Next, you have Herbmaster Temple. This is a rather dark and gloomy map with several destroyable objects, and this map is larger than Stand of Heroes. Then you have the Grand Buddha, where you're basically fighting on a statue, I guess? Good scenery though. I think this is the only map that isn't symmetrical. The last one is Field of Fertility, which lets you fight on a farm. I believe this is a smaller map than Stand of Heroes. However, you will almost always see people use Stand of Heroes. That's because there's 2 problems. The first problem with the other map is that it requires extra loading time. You are already in Stand of Heroes when you enter the arena, so beginning of a match is much faster. The second problem is that the other maps are a bit too fancy. Most people lag too much in the other maps and just find them unenjoyable. So if you can run the other maps, then go ahead, you're welcome to playing them, but Stand of Heroes will be the standard map until they fix these problems. Alright, our room's done. So, let's see if anyone joined by clicking this button down here. The player list lets you see everyone who is currently in your room, so you know who's spying on you. Right now, it seems like we don't have anyone. Instead, we can click on the Arena tab here to look at who's idling the arena and invite them to join us. Great, our invitation was accepted and they joined our room. However, we can't fight them just yet. They must first join the opposing team. Note that this might take a few seconds, because there is a glitch that prevents people from joining teams right away. Here they are. Can the fight begin? No, not yet. This is also a staging area. Notice how it says, not ready. The opponent must first click a button to indicate that they are ready, then you can click start and officially begin the match. What if your opponent is a troll and just never clicks ready? Since this is your room, you can click the trash can button and kick them from the team. Or, if they're really a troll, you can kick them from the room entirely by going to the player list and clicking expel. Alright, that was mean, so let's invite them back. Also, if you're a troll yourself, there is a slightly obscure procedure that lets you force people onto a team. First, click the flag, then click their name. At first, you'll notice that the invite button will be grayed out and you'll think it doesn't work. But the trick is, you click the flag again. Similarly, sometimes they can't join right away, so you just gotta wait and try again. There we go. Okay, our opponent is ready. Time to click start and begin. First, we get a screen displaying our opponent's win rate, so you know how seriously to take your opponent, I guess.
3、2、1、开始。
Now the fight has officially begun. As you notice, my opponent will actually take damage now. So, we'll go over how to actually fight your opponent in a later video. But for now, let's look at the arena interface. First of all, up here you have the round time. As I mentioned earlier, if it reaches 0, whoever has the highest HP wins. Then up here, we can see you and your opponent's HP and chi. This is a slightly more accurate representation of the HP bar over your heads, so if you had to choose, use this one to see how close your opponent is to dying. Oh, and don't worry about chi. I never seen an arena fight go on long enough for each participant to run out of chi. I don't know if that's even possible within 200 seconds. Here's something you don't see normally. You can see the stamina and combat focus of both you and your opponent. Stamina is that yellow bar that appears to the left of your character when you start jumping and sprinting. Without it, you can't use utility skills. Combat focus is something you briefly touched on at level 10. I'm not going to go into details about it in this video, so just know that it is consumed when you use extra skills. So remember how I told you to disable extras earlier? Now we don't have to worry about this at all. Alright, everyone has to die someday. Since we are in the best of 1, as soon as this round finishes, we're done. Congratulations, you just completed your first arena match. One last thing, I would personally advise you to level to 60. You have all your skills now, but upon reaching level 60, you'll be able to use an additional skill slot in the arena. Just auto-cultivate every night, and you'll be there in no time. Didn't go as smoothly as you hoped it would be? No worries. Remember, failure is merely the mother of success. So, if you liked this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Next time, I will be going into actual PvP. Stay tuned!